Now, you also mentioned like your dream and vision is in this is growth, is scalability and feeding lots of people. Do you find that is even possible, right? Because most of the times when you look at quality, right, you got to
Yeah.
then not scale as fast. It's the same thing I find in medicine, right? If you're going after quality people, needle is in haystacks almost sort of thing, people are like, why don't you franchise your centers all across the US? It's like, because the quality would go down. There's no doubt in my mind it would, as much as I put in training things and all sorts of parameters around it.
Oh
So
yeah.
there is an artistry to what you're doing. Artistry is hard to then scale up, let's say, as a technology or something, that can just be kind of what's your way of going to like about addressing that as you do want to scale and you realize, hey, the farmers can't keep up with this and the potatoes aren't in stock this year and everything else.
Yeah, I think without a doubt, I think the biggest problem, and we're talking pretty large scaling, like we'd run into this problem at large scale, would be the supply
Yeah.
of organic this, pasture raised beef, you name it. I think that will ultimately be the hardest because it's also kind of out of our control to a degree.
Mhm.
Um, I think as far as like maintaining the cleaning practices, uh, the non-toxic cooking methods, that won't be as hard. It's having the systems in place. It's, not allowing them to purchase, their cleaning products from any other supplier. You must purchase this brand, you name it. You can put in those restrictions. Um, but I think the supply, it might be the most difficult part. Um, we've got kind of our strategies of how we're going to deal with that, going forward. Whether it's expanding to new states earlier than a typical restaurant chain would to kind of be able to pull, beef from different regions, for instance, and allow some of our, allow California beef to catch up to our future projected demand, right?
Right. Mhm.
So there's like small strategies like that. But yeah, at the end of the day, we're gonna scale as fast as nature allows. And I think naturally restaurants can only scale so fast. They're I shouldn't say notorious, but they're a difficult thing to. It's not a software business or other services businesses where it's easier to copy and paste
Yeah.
across the nation, especially something if you're not doing franchise model, which we don't plan to, again, to keep
Mhm.
the quality perfect essentially. But I think by the time we reach that, I think it'll just have to be um, having a close relationship with our suppliers is going to be paramount, and making sure they grow alongside us. And like I said, I love regenerative farming. It is I love it more than the restaurant industry. I'll tell you that. It's a lot more enjoyable to me. But if we have to start our own partner farms, if we have to invest alongside existing farms, that's what we'll do. And it would even though maybe economically it's not even, it would require me to raise more money,
Sure.
uh, make these investments that aren't an immediate return on invested capital per se. But in the long run, I think if that's what we need to do, that's what we need to
Yeah.
do. And there are certain benefits from that, right? The benefits of controlling the supply chain and knowing exactly where our ingredients are coming from and exactly how they're raised, and also protecting us from price fluctuations in the future. And it would definitely be an investment for future gain. Would be It'd probably be a maybe not a negative in the short term, but definitely like making a sacrifice to do that. But yeah, I think there's plenty of ways to make that work. I think where my focus is now is creating this blueprint that
Yep.
we feel confident can be copy and pasted, to different areas, because we've got our issues, not demand. Like, honestly, it's the opposite. I get a lot of pressure because there's so many people reaching out to us on Instagram, comments, DMs, emails, oh, come to South Carolina, come to Austin, come to Miami, you name it. People are are requesting us. And, I'm like, oh gosh, I want to give all these people like this experience. And, I feel it too, because I know nobody else is going to do as good a job as we do. But at the end of the day, we're limited by the constraint of the operations. And so that's what I'm focusing on, dialing
Yeah.
first. That way, once we have that dialed, we can take it to these markets where people want us.
Yeah. And demand always presents opportunities, right? That's always a thing. There's obviously great demand in what you're seeing, and you're going to get those hits from people all around. California, though, I do know is kind of like its own microcosm of a place that health and wellness, right, is just above and beyond the rest of the country, I would say. And you're going to find those outliers in South Carolina everywhere because I get it too, right? People like,
Right.
hey, do you have a center open in like somewhere Illinois I've never heard of? I'm like, not
Yeah.
yet. Maybe someday. It's not like
Yeah.
top market I'm looking at right now, but
Yeah.
hopefully
Yeah.
someday, right?